Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alec Reed. This is my channel, Alec Reads. Today we are reading Marriage, a Heartstopper fanfiction by heartstopper_fan22 on Wattpad. And we are reading chapter 37, Flashback, part 5. Can you believe it? 37 chapters already. Anyway, keep in mind, I also now have a Spotify page, so go check that out. I'm going to be posting some spicy content soon. But yeah, welcome back, or welcome to, friends. Let's jump right into the video. Chapter 37, Flashback, Part 5. Charlie's perspective. My mom let us go after having snack, aka a whole meal. There was so much food. And we headed to Nick's to have an amazing sleepover. When we walked in, we were greeted by David's usual stink-eye and disgusted looks. I've been bullied before, so it doesn't bother me. I guess you could say I'm used to it. But Nick wasn't. Nick got really upset when David would be negative towards him, and especially when he said something that wasn't nice to me. I've tried telling him truly it doesn't bother me, but he's just super embarrassed that his own family is rude to him and his boyfriend. I understand that he's worried about that, but you can't control others' opinions on you, and I don't want him to stress about it too much. We go upstairs and I say, Nick, just ignore him. It's okay. David is an asshole, and it's best to just ignore assholes. He hugged me, and we cuddled on his bed watching those fake story animated videos that were just so funny because of how fake they were. We laughed and laughed until I remembered I needed to find a ring he owns to see his jewelry preference, so I could give him the perfect promise ring. Before he leaves for university, he had already got me water, and I wasn't going to ask him for food because I've had more than enough of that today, so I needed to think. Nick, do you think you can go downstairs and see if I left my AirPods in my jacket pocket? My sister wants to borrow them. I think I brought them to yours by accident. He smiles and says in return, Is Prince Charming too lazy to check himself? He laughs, and instead of joking back, I say seriously, Please, Nick. He stops laughing and says, Yeah, of course, Charlie. Is there a certain reason you don't want to get up? Are you tired? Or does your back hurt? I know you said it hurt 2 days ago. I was taken aback that he remembered that. I didn't even make a big deal out of it. I just lightly mentioned it once. I say, Yeah, my back is still a bit sore. I'm fine now. He kisses my forehead and leaves the room, leaving me probably 2 minutes to search. He had 2 messy containers filled with jewelry, but just tossed into one big pile. I tried searching through, but could hear footsteps. I started shoving the stuff back into his drawer. I shut the drawer right as the door opened, and it wasn't Nick. David opens the door and says, Hey, Chari, what's fucking my brother like? I roll my eyes and say, Wouldn't you like to know? I could tell by the puzzled expression on his face that he didn't get what I meant. He then says, I saw you looking through Nick's stuff. What's wrong? Can't find the lube? I respond, Now, why do you care so much about us having sex? Are you jealous or something? He's at a loss for words for a second, then says, Ew, no, I'm not gay. I'm just trying to make sure you're not stealing my brother. I say, I was not stealing, I would never, plus I'm with Nick all the time, so he would see if I took something of his. David just stands there smirking. Well, what are you doing? I respond, I was just curious as to what type of jewelry my boyfriend likes to wear, because it's our anniversary soon. It wasn't actually our anniversary soon, but how would he know that? He walks closer and says, Oh really? Is that so? Well, I know when Nick and your anniversary is because Nick won't shut the fuck up about it. Tell me what you're hiding. I thought about it. I thought it was cute how Nick is really talking about our anniversary, but I knew I had to get David off my back or I'll look like I'm doing something suspicious. I wanted to surprise him with something special before he goes off to university, okay? Could you please not mention it to Nick? He smiles and just left the room as Nick walked in. Nick shuts the door and rushes over to me. Sorry I was gone so long. I tried to find a heating pad for your back. What did he say to you? I knew if I told him everything that happened, I would look suspicious. Plus, he would be super mad at David for all the weird sex questions. And if he got mad at David, he would know I snitched on him and won't keep my secret. I responded, he was nice. It's okay. He was just asking about Tori. I think they talked to each other at the last barbecue your mom hosted. He kissed me and said, oh, thank God. I feel so bad if I left you, and David said something rude. We started making out, and then David barged in again. Wow. Guys, maybe don't do that around me. Nick yelled, then get the fuck out of my room. He laughs and says, I won't be staying long. I just wanted to show Charlie something in my room. Nick looked confused and angry. Charlie is not going with you to your room unless I come. I don't trust you. He looks at me and says, Charlie, you want to come with me, right? I start to sweat. Yeah, I say. Nick looks at me and says, Charlie, you don't have to go with him if you don't want to. I knew I needed to if I wanted to keep my secret. I get up from the bed and walk towards the door. No, it's fine. I'll be right back. Chapter 38. Flashback, Part 6. I was following David out of Nick's room, and to say I was scared was an understatement. David hated me and was super homophobic. I had no clue what he wanted from me. As I step into the hallway, about to go into his room, David says, hurry up. I step into his room, and there's band posters all over the walls and heavy metal bands. He had posters of almost naked girls above his bed and porn magazines on his desk. I kind of stood there uncomfortable until he said, here, look through. He hands me a Hottest Girl of the Year on our best 1980s models. It was a magazine of topless girls lying on cars. I wasn't interested in the girls, but definitely the cars. I loved old sports cars. I then say, why do you want me to look through this? He then responds, just do it. I look through it confused, like, why did he want me to see this so bad? He then pats me on the back. What's your favorite page, champ? I turn to the page with the most amazing Mustang on it, and point. This page for sure. He chuckles and said, God damn, you have good taste. She's sexy. I look disgusted and say, no, I just like the car on this page. She's not my type. At all. I'm gay. He scoffs. You're only gay because you haven't found the right girl. I shake my head. No, I'm definitely gay. He then smirks and replies, have you ever kissed a girl? Or fucked one? I say sternly, no, I just told you I'm gay. He laughs and then says, Ash, come here. A tall girl stands from the side of his bed. I didn't notice her because she was sitting on the floor. I just waved slightly because I didn't know what to do. She was just staring at me. David then says, this is Ashley, my girlfriend. I quietly say hi. I didn't know what was happening, but I had an awful feeling about this whole situation. I say, well, nice meeting you, but I should go back to Nick. He's probably waiting for me. David slams his body in front of the door, blocking my exit. Nick will be fine. We're almost done here. He then says, I told Ashley all about you, and she was willing to kiss you. And of course, I don't mind. Trust me, you won't be gay anymore after kissing a girl. I froze, and then saw that David wasn't standing in front of the door anymore. So I ran and opened the door, and then left his room, even though I didn't tell Nick. Even the thought of kissing a girl made me feel uncomfortable. I didn't even grab my phone from Nick's room, or tell him I was leaving. I just ran down the stairs, put my shoes on, and left his house immediately. I ran down the street as angry tears fell from my face. I felt embarrassed, ashamed, and guilty, even though I didn't do anything. Once I got home, Tori said that Nick was blowing up her phone asking her where I was. I realized my phone was still at Nick's and begged Tori to go pick it up for me. She agreed because she could tell something happened. Charles, what happened at Nick's? I responded, nothing. I'm just super cranky today. I knew if I told her what David had done, she would be livid and cause a massive scene. I was waiting for her in my room when the door burst open. I was snuggled into the bed, not wanting to move, so I said, "Thanks, Tori. Just put it on my desk." Then I hear Nick and Tori say in unison, "What did he do?" I jumped up, not expecting Nick to be there. He flung himself onto me, hugging me super tight. "Charlie, did he do something to you?" I shake my head no and just yell, "Everyone get out of my room." This was the first time I ever yelled at Nick. Tori pulled him off of me and told him, "I know you want him to tell you about what he's angry about, but when he's angry, it's best to leave him alone, or he'll never tell us." I slammed my head into my pillow and just screamed. What was I going to do now? I know I needed to tell Nick, but I felt so ashamed. I should have never gone into his stupid room. Nick came into my room an hour later and says, "Baby, please, please, I'm begging you. What happened?" He says while sitting on the floor beside my bed, crying. I don't see him cry often, so I turn my face to him, then wipe the tears off his cheeks and say, "Okay." He looks up and smiles. Then I tell him everything. After I finish telling him, he's so pissed. He storms out of my room and says before leaving, "I promise David will be apologizing to you for this." 45 minutes later, Nick knocks on my door again. I walk downstairs to answer it, and he was standing there with David. I stare at him, saying nothing. I was like a deer in headlights, frozen. Then he says, "I'm sorry I was a dick to you. I shouldn't have asked you to kiss Ashley. That wasn't cool." I say in response, "Okay, it's fine." I knew I needed to accept his apology because he was Nick's brother, but it was hard because of how uncomfortable I felt. Nick then shoves him and tells him to go home. We cuddled on my couch for a bit, and then we headed back to his house for the sleepover. I had to assure Nick 1,000 times that I still wanted to stay over at his house. I didn't want my parents or Nick's mom to find out because I don't like pity, and I definitely didn't want Nick or Nick's mom to feel bad. They were the sweetest people, and it wasn't their fault that David was a monster. Alright, that is the end of today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I am now starting a Let's Hate David club, so if you hate David, let me know in the comments. But anyway, I have a Spotify page now, so feel free to check that out. I will soon be having some spicy content on there too, mixed with all of the content from on here. Anyway, good morning, good night, or good afternoon, and goodbye, ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between. Bye, friends.